one's watching. It's just me and you. We should explain, really, shouldn't we? Well, first, good morning, because we're doing a morning recording. We've gone and got ourselves a mother flipping producer. Say hello, producer.
Hello, producer.
Not you.
Hello, producer.
Hey, producer, what's been added to the wheel?
This week added to the wheel is cats and dogs. Separate entries, cats and dogs.
Yeah, you can't have multiple entries like some shady individual tried to do with the Gregorian and Julian calendars. None of that bullshit.
What's the best thing in the world? I asked first.
Best thing in the world is fire. What's the worst thing in the world?
Fascism.
Yeah, it would
but
be a dark
only
day.
Slightly worse than Lost Lager.
Yeah, be a dark day when fascism is not the worst thing in the world anymore.
And actually, I'm going to confess, I feel some social pressure and pressure from friends that if we did put fascism slightly above Lost Lager in a humorous way, it would be taken too seriously.
I think so. I think the line, fascism's the line, right?
Fascism ain't funny.
No. I think that the Nazi Party are very much to blame for making it not okay to joke about fascism.
You could joke about the Nazis, though, I think.
You can joke about the Nazis. That's true. You can joke about the Nazis. Because of the horrific things they did, in the name of fascism, now fascism's like, it's a bit of a taboo subject.
Not just because of them. Spin the wheel so as I know what, because I need to drink one of the roast dinner beers.
Hey, it's not my job anymore. I'm not wheel spinning guy anymore.
While you spin the wheel, I will start my course live of plant sterols.
How many are you going to take?
Just run out of my Benical. I need to eat 3.
1, 2, 3, 4?
3.
3. Damn, that's like a meal.
I'm hoping it'll counteract the big breakfast that I took the boys to. These are big pills, right? These are like little finger-sized pills.
They're meant for horses.
Oh, wait, are they?
They're not pills that just slip one up. Just going to take my meds.
Are you supposed to chew or just swallow?
They look like swallowers. I don't think I bought fancy enough ones for you to chew them.
My blood is thinning already.
Okay, we're going to spin it. Millennials!
Oh, God.
Didn't we already know we did Gen X? Okay.
Oh, we did. And the producer / wife is a millennial. So this is going to be awkward.
I'm not the one who dislikes millennials. It's not going to be awkward for me.
I don't dislike them. I just, said some things.
The moon.
The moon.
The moon, producing style. Pa-pow!
Start slating millennials.
We should clarify exactly what they are first. We did do this research for Gen X. Do you remember the dates for millennials?
We're on the border, so like 81, 82 is kind of the...
Let's have a look.
Because we feel we're very late Gen X.
Also known as Generation Y or Gen Y. Demographic following Generation X and preceding Generation Z or Z if you're an American. Early 80s is the starting birth years and the mid-90s to the early 2000s as the ending, with the generation typically being defined as people born from 81 to 96, but not including us.
What's 24 plus 4? 28.
Really?
Is that the youngest millennial? So the youngest millennial is 28 and the oldest millennial is essentially 42, wow. 41, 42.
Yes, because that's how old we are. I know I said some things, but, it includes people that are just a few years younger than us or similar age. Pretty much all of our friends, right? Give or take. Some of them are a couple of years older than us.
Summers is solidly Gen X, right?
Summers is, he's like Methuselah. He's been around for thousands of years.
He's Gen X from the first time we went around the alphabet.
Yeah, like on number plates, it comes back round again. Well, that, but for age.
Gen X, but, BC.
He remembers when there was no such thing as tectonic plates.
Where'd you live? Pangea. That's where I live. P.O.
What's
Box
the postcode?
1.
Let me drop some millennial-shaped truth bombs up on your ass. They are the digital natives. They grew up with the internet. So unlike us, who discovered the internet when it came about, we were like, oh, it's such a clever thing. They were like, that's just the deal. That's what life is, internet. They're also known as the unluckiest generation.
Are they now superseded, though? Is the next generation after them?
That's the really unlucky generation.
Because at least the top end of the millennials are still like just with us surfing the good wave, but the youngest ones are proper fucked.
Gen Z, they are the fucked generation. They've been weighed down with student debt and childcare costs, postponed marriage or living together as a couple, born at a time of declining fertility rates around the world. They're having less kids than their predecessors, less inclined to bone, apparently.
It's because they don't drink either.
That's true, yeah. They don't do the, they're not big binge drinkers. They're cowards, basically.
They've got no money. They can't afford it.
That's true. They could drink White Lightning. That stuff's like 50p for a 3-litre bottle.
Can't afford anything because they buy avocados, which didn't exist when we were children. So maybe that's why.
No, avocados weren't a thing. They were invented in the early 90s.
They were. By the bourgeoisie left. Woke literati.
Someone said, hey, wouldn't it be great if there was like a savoury pear? And someone went, I've got this.
Avocado is like, it's not super appetizing in itself. Whoever chopped it open the first time didn't go, whoa, this looks good.
Well, it's like slightly, not oily, but it's got that kind of greasiness to it. And it's like, it's slimy and it's green. And it's not like an appetizing green. It's not like a nice apple green. It's like
and it's perfectly ripe for about 20 seconds in its lifespan. Too hard before, brown rush after, but it is delicious. I do love avocados now that I bothered to start eating them. But I waited until I could afford them. Unlike the millennials, who started very young and now can't afford to live.
So do you think that's the sole reason why millennials don't have any money? Was the avocado binge of the early 90s?
Pretty much. That and the economic collapse.
The boomers did leave things in a not great state.
Gen X is more likely to have bought up the housing stock. There's lots of housing supply up north, so you need to rebalance the economy away from London.
No one wants to live up north. Have you seen it? It's great.
Rebalance the economy away from London. I think if we extend the borders of Scotland south, so we make it all Scotland, people are like, oh, Scotland's lovely. And then
that's true, actually. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's marketing. We need to rebrand it.
That's why the borders is quite an appealing place to live. But if you go like 20 miles south of the borders and all the contrast goes out of the world again, and you're in the north and it's like, it's grim up north.
If we give or loan like the eastern part to Norway, it becomes part of Scandinavia and has some of the highest living standards on the planet. We just need to innovate.
I'd be happy to live in the north if it was Scandinavia north. Because Scandinavia north's cool. Like, yes, you've got the brilliant sort of standard living, but also your heritage is like Vikings and shit. And I know they did some bad things, but also fucking cool.
However, back to the millennials, I think they've been fairly stiffed. I also don't see them as having like a bad work ethic or anything like that.
No.
Plenty of people have a bad work ethic and it's not limited to millennials.
Because your gig economy job doesn't make you any money anyway, you could be like, oh, I'm an artist. And that's kind of legitimate for you because there's fuck all else you can do.
So what you're saying is you're already in poverty, so you may as well be an artist in poverty rather than just a person in poverty.
If you're not going to have any money and any food and live like crap, you might as well, pour your soul out in your work and make beautiful things for...
Just in time for AI to start doing that.
It used to be, when you're a boomer, you went to school and then you went to college and then you went to university or you went to apprenticeship, got a trade or something, and then you went and worked for a company and then that was your career. And sometimes you might go to a different company, but the thing that you are would be the thing that you are. Or you'd leave college as like, I don't know, an ecologist, let's say.
That's a very millennial degree.
It is, but say you go and do that, right? You go and become an ecologist, and then you leave university, and then you're an ecologist for your life. And that's not like the really boomer thing of you commit to a company, and also the sort of pre-war thing. You commit to a company, you work for that company for like 40 and 50 years, and then you retire and get a little carriage clock, and then you go and die. But you'll be an ecologist maybe, and then you'll like go to different jobs and still stay within the field and do the thing. And I don't think that's necessarily the recognised path for...
There are more jobs now to do. There's more nuance.
More variety. Jobs. Absolutely.
Yeah. They're better than fascism, that's for sure.
They are better than fascism and arguably better than Lost Lager. But we'll find out.
There's a debate to be had. What's the second thing? Duct tape. It's great.
Duct tape.
I've got gaffer tape, which I prefer to duct tape, actually.
That's not a tape. That's a tape.
Gaffer tape leaves no residue, doesn't sticky stuff up.
You mean masking tape?
No, it's not masking tape because it's much stronger than masking tape. You use it a lot on film sets and stuff to attach things to other things without fucking up the things. Duct tape is all clothy and can leave sticky stuff and can be too hard to get off, especially the Gorilla Tape that I see you're sporting right there.
Yeah, this is a badass motherfucker in the duct tape world. This sticks anything to anything, and occasionally me to things. So is this specifically duct tape and not gaffer tape?
It is duct tape and not duck tape. I have, now thinking about it, I have used duct tape for ducts attaching my air conditioning to stuff. Very useful, stick stuff to other stuff. I do feel the waterproofiness is overstated.
I don't think any tape's really waterproof, is it? Although I suppose it has to have an element of waterproofiness, or at least condensation proofiness.
The special tape that they put on aircraft that looks like duct tape but isn't.
That stuff's cool.
Hoping that's waterproof.
What's that stuff called?
I don't know. Airplane fixie tape.
Airplane fixie tape.
AFT.
We need some AFT over here. Stat, the wing's fallen off. I've got this.
Take over that market with our airplane fixie tape.
No people who are buying shit, none of them are going out and going, you know what I really need to pick up? Let's see. Bread, cheese, ham, bleach, aircraft fixie tape.
Airplane fixie tape.
For my airplane. No, they don't do that. But
if
they
it's
might
good enough
be
for
like,
planes, it's good enough for everything else.
It's like people buy shit that's branded as NASA, like NASA pencils.
I love NASA
So
stuff.
we sell it as AFT, but our market is people who do things like me, who before buying a gaffer tape will go onto Google and go, what is the best biro?
It's the critically acclaimed tape of tapes.
Yeah, and it will come up as aircraft fixie tape is the best consumer tape, and then we'll make a fortune.
Aviation grade. What's next?
Well, it's another good thing. The moon. Ooh.
Now, I'm curious. Did we do that? We didn't do the tides already, did we?
No, we didn't do the tides.
I'm wondering if the moon, because it causes the tides, are the tides vital for life in somehow? Scientific American have us covered with an article saying, without the moon, would there be life on Earth? The ocean's tidal flow helps transport heat from the equator to the poles. Without the lunar tides, it's conceivable that climate oscillations from the Ice Age to the interglacial would have been less extreme. And those glaciations called migrations. So it might have helped with the spread of life.
Of people?
Because it forced people and creatures and animals to move. In tidal pools and stuff, it causes stronger evolutionary pressures because there's lots of things changing all the time.
I think he's a she? Is it a man or a woman?
There's a man in it.
Roman and Grecian gods and mythology and stuff isn't you know, like Helios, who's the sun, who's all like, oh, I'm the sun, and then his wife's I don't know what her name is, but she's the lunar goddess.
Greek is Selene.
Also, the cycle of ladies
and werewolves.
Ladies and werewolves.
I don't know. This is a dangerous joking ground.
It is. But once a month, werewolves turn into hideous, hairy beasts, frighten the bejesus out of everybody. I don't think you can throw chocolate at a werewolf to calm it down either.
But try it. You know, if that's all you've got, give it a go. Chocolate is toxic to canines, so it may eat chocolate and die before it rips you up. Other good things about the moon: it encouraged scientific progress and the lunar program.
You reckon if it hadn't been there, we wouldn't have... Well, obviously, if it hadn't been there, we wouldn't have tried to get to it. But we maybe wouldn't have tried to go... We wouldn't have been as fierce about going to space.
Mr. President, we want to fly to this empty space. 20 million kilometres
away
to prove our superiority to the Soviets.
We as humans have like a big old relationship with the moon. From back in day, you know, when we used to sit around the campfire telling stories and such. Being like, oh...
Great story. Caveman stand up. The moon, eh? Yeah. Sun goes down, moon comes up. What's that all about?
Oh.
The moon is actually up most of the time and you can often see it during the day, even when the sun is up.
Burn him. Burn him as a witch. Burn him.
I like the moon. I think it's cool.
I like the moon.
The tides contribute a lot.
I like that you can look at the moon with just like a pair of binoculars. You can have a look and you can see all the cool stuff.
We never navigate by it though, do we?
No. North Star, always in the same spot, so you can reliably navigate by it all the time. Moon is not always in the same place in the sky, and you would have to do some maths to figure out, based on the date it is and where it is, before you could then navigate by it.
In old days, the moon, after Googling it, was very important for people as a calendar, so they knew when was when to do harvests and things.
Well, yeah, it's lunar calendar, isn't it? That's why a month is a month, except months aren't quite right. But
Oh, no, don't. You'll trigger our viewer.
you know when it's day and when it's night. You can measure a day.
Like a day, I can picture yourself working hard on the farm. I mean, even now with all our tech, you can still wake up and go, I don't know if it's Tuesday or Wednesday. But the moon, the full moon, give us...
Yeah, it's a longer way of chopping up time, right? Because you can say, well, that's a full moon, give or take. I know that the next time the moon looks like that is going to be 28 of these things when the sun's going up and down. And then years also.
Oi, Smith, when was the last time you were as cold as balls? Was it yesterday or a long time ago? It was a long time ago. Right, the year is done. It's a new winter.
That's got a fairly high degree of plus minus, hasn't it?
Do you feel colder today than yesterday or warmer? Warmer. Hey, we're halfway through winter. Have you ever learned the Babylonian way to count?
No. Teach me, Carl.
With your hands, right, you can count to 10. Easy. 1, 2, 3.
That's why base 10 makes so much sense.
Check this out. So this is way off topic, but it's really cool. But your fingers and hands have 3 bits. So you can be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then you can drop a finger down here. So you can count up to 12 on these. Then knock one of these fingers down. Then you can do it again. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
I can't easily knock one of these fingers down.
On the other hand. The other hand.
I'm so confused.
Ignore the other hand for now. On this hand, you can actually count up to 12 even with just your fingers. The other reason that counting system is best is because it's called sexagesimal. Anyway, the moon. It's pretty great.
It's a constant companion, except when it's cloudy. If you want to be dead steaky, like SEAL, Navy SEAL style, you want no moon so people can't see you coming.
Where are we, Smith? No fucking idea, sir. It's really dark. Werewolves just have bad press.
Do you remember that game we used to play?
Werewolf of London on the Amstrad.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was such a good game. And if you went on the tracks, you get electrocuted. So stay off the tracks on the underground, kids. But you'd look up to somebody like, yum, yum, and they would turn into bloody person, bloody skeleton, just a skeleton. God.
But then during the day, didn't you have to, like...
You just you had to follow people.
Not to be a werewolf.
You did. Well, you just weren't a werewolf. But it's quite creepy. You had to get these like 12 silver keys to remove the curse. So you would find a key holder during the day and then be like, follow them around. And then at night, and you could go to prison and then have to get out of prison stuff. That was a good game. Anyway, let's rate some stuff.
We should rate some stuff. Moon for me's top.
I would agree on that. Moon, then I would go for duct tape second.
Yep.
And then Millennials.
I think that's fair. I mean, obviously Gen X is better than Millennials.
I'm going to be a bit tactical. And I'm going to pitch them just under Wales so as you're making Wales better. So now they can't be too mad at me because I put them to boost up their precious Wales.
That's still pretty high. But then my wife and our producer is a Millennial, so I can't be too mean.
Has she killed more or less people than the PLA and NHS?
Pretty sure less.
So higher than the NHS then?
That seems very high for something I was ragging on not that long ago, though.
You really like Top Gun Maverick.
And I also really love Arcade Maid. I mean, that's a long leap down, but...
Oh, you're going to tactically push up the Maid?
I'm going to put Millennials between England and Clockwork Orange, or Tangerine, or whatever it's called.
Alright, so you've got them there, and I have them there. It's neck and neck with something, I don't know what it is. It's like a turquoisey, tealy kind of sandwich with a red thing inside it, in between the NHS and Lion King.
Oh, that's tectonic plates on their side because they didn't fit the right way.
Like giant s'mores. Giant magma-filled s'mores. Alright, Millennials, better or worse than tectonic plates? Better, I would say.
No, tectonic plates are really important, as we discovered.
Shall we roll it off with this massive D20 that I got from a conference?
It seems like a cool thing to do, but before, I will say, if there weren't any tectonic plates, I think we'd all be fucked. If there weren't any Millennials, we'd miss them, but life would go on.
If there weren't any Millennials, you also wouldn't get
Sexy fun times.
unless you found some Gen X's.
Or a Gen Z. Yeah, look at me. I'm not hooking up with any Gen Zs. They don't want this.
Need to be a lot richer.
Yeah, and have a much better bod and look less like a boiled ham.
Nonsense. I'm sure you could hook a Gen Z if that were the situation.
I do sometimes think, bear with me, if something horrible happened to Sarah, which would be the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
I'm
How
still
much
relatively
thought have you
young,
given this?
so I probably wouldn't want to be alone for the rest of my life, right? But I think once I got over the reef and I wanted to get back out there, there would need to be a serious workout montage to get me back up to dating spec.
Please tell me why it has to be Gen Z.
There's no millennials.
Okay, so maybe that's what took Sarah out in the cataclysm that eliminated all millennials.
Yeah, it was the millennium bug.
I wasn't coming with you on this journey, but now I'm sold.
So she's gone, unfortunately. That's really bad, and I'm very sad for her.
You don't want a Gen X chick, cause
If you had a choice, right, bearing in mind that we are the youngest Gen Xers, you know, if it's an option.
I'm still pitching them above tectonic plates. I'm not sold on your concept.
I'll roll the dice then. Go for it.
Would you like odds or evens?
I will take evens, please.
It's a 9.
Ah.
Millennials then, please, above tectonic plates.
Above tectonic plates. Deal. All right, next up. Gaff tape.
Duct tape.
Sorry, duct
Not
tape.
duct tape, not gaff tape, duct tape. Now, my initial reaction would have been it's better than cable ties, but when I think about it, cable ties have also been very useful.
I think if all of the tapes, you know, of that ilk, so gaffer tape, duct tape,
And airplane fixie tape.
and AFT, obviously,
Airplane fixie tape, airplane fixie tape, fix it with some airplane fixie tape.
not just for planes, can be used for other things. Get yourself some fixie tape. So if all of those tapes were all grouped together, I think they would definitely be above cable ties. But as we're taking them in their constituent parts, I don't think it's as good as Wales. I think Wales are pretty good.
All right, I'm in front of you, and I've got 3 things I'm offering you. We can drink a jackhammer together.
Nice.
Got some duct tape for you.
Sweet.
Or we can watch Top Gun Maverick.
Well, we're watching Top Gun Maverick,
Okay.
obviously, because it's brilliant. So in that case, I guess it's going below Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, wait a minute. You're really badly hurt.
Right, okay.
We can either splint your leg up with some
Yep.
duct tape. Totally
Gotcha.
valid use, totally valid. Or I can take you to the NHS, which has a higher casualty rate than the People's Liberation Army of China.
I would rather use gaffer tape than go to the NHS. Unless it was something that only qualified medical professionals could fix, in which case I would go to them. But for the average everyday injuries, I would take things like super glue, cable ties and gaffer tape above the NHS.
All right, so
What is that beer?
it's so small.
Oh, that's the one that's got Jeebus on it, the Temptation Ale.
It's better than
It was
that.
a sour. It was a fruity sour. It was a tropical fruity sour.
The fact that I don't remember it enough probably means that duct tape should go just above that.
Yeah.
And just under Top Gun Maverick.
And just above Temptation Beer.
Sweet.
Yeah.
The moon.
Um,
I regard the moon as one of the foundational pieces of like human mythology and existence and how we perceive the world, and it's always been there for humanity, so I would put it just under fire.
I think I might be with you. I think fire over the moon, because fire...
Oxford's
Logo. What is that? A bull on some water?
It's an ox and a Ford.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense.
Right?
Hey, I just learned today that an ox is named after oxes going fording a river. Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense when you think about it. You know Portsmouth, right?
I get that, but totally going to confess that's the first time we've ever realised that Oxford is about an ox. Cool. Yeah, I'll put the moon above that still.
Yeah, Scotland I like, me, quite a fan of. I don't think the moon's better than fire, because fire is a much more personal relationship with fire, although I do have quite a personal relationship with the moon. So I'm with you. Yeah, I think we go just below fire for the moon.
Deal. Cool. All right, so we were using this new tool, so do we just stop recording?
I think, well, we say goodbye first to our fans.
To be clear, no, they'll love this bit of the show. I never had to push start recording, did I?
No, you didn't have to. That's on me. You didn't have to do anything. Let's say goodbye to our fan. Bye-bye, fan. We'll see all you lovely people probably next week.
Maybe.
Bye-bye.